Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to discuss this figure it out that is on page number 123. So here in question number 1, you have to find the angles marked below. Now as we can clearly see that angle A and 48 degree, these two angles they are forming a Z shape, and Z shape means that they are alternate interior angles. Both the angles are on the opposite side of the transversal and in the interior region. So that is why these two angles are equal. So angle A is 48 degree. Similarly, in the next case, angle B and 52. Again, they are forming a Z shape. So B is also 52 degrees. Now in the next one, angle C, we have to find the measure of angle C. Again, this is forming a Z shape. Both the angles are on the opposite side of the transversal but in the interior region. So again, C is equal to 81 degrees. Moving on to the next. Now in this case, we have to find the measure of angle D. Now angle D and 81. They both are on the same side of the transversal and in the inside region. So that means D and 81. Their sum will be 180 degree, as we have learned that both of these are co-interior angles. So we can find as 180 minus 81, which will give us 99. Or by the other method, we know that angle D and 99, they both are forming again alternate interior angles, and they both are equal. So you can do it by any of them. Now the next one is, we have to find the measure of E. Now if you observe here that these two lines are parallel and this line, the third line, this is acting as transversal. Again, they are forming a Z shape. So the measure of angle E is 69 degrees. The next one, now this is a straight line. Again, we have two methods. The one is that if we observe that this is a straight line and 132 and this angle, these two angles, they form a linear pair. And we know that the sum of linear pair is 180 degree. If I take this as x, 132 plus x is equal to 180 degree. So x is equal to 180 minus 132, which is equal to 48 degrees. Now, since these two lines are parallel, again this is forming a Z shape. So the measure of angle F is 48 degrees. So we have to give a proper reasoning for this. Now moving on to the next, we have to find the measure of G. To find the measure of angle G, we observe that these two lines are parallel and the third line is acting as transversal. Now again this is forming a Z shape. Both the angles are in the interior and on the opposite sides of the transversal. So that means this is 58 degrees. Now 58 and angle G. Since both the angles, they are on the straight line, they are forming a linear pair. So the sum of these two angles will be 180 degrees. Now to find G, we will subtract this from 180 degree. The measure of angle G will be 122 degrees. The other method to find the measure of angle G is, since both the lines are parallel, this is acting as transversal. One angle is in the interior and one angle is in the exterior and on the same side of transversal. That means they are forming corresponding angles. And corresponding angles are always equal. So we will give the reasoning that they are corresponding angles. So we have again two methods. Now the next one is to find the measure of angle H. Arrows indicates that the lines are parallel. This line is acting as transversal, which is forming a Z shape, and both the angles are in the interior of the transversal on the opposite sides. Again, this is forming a Z shape, so that means angle H is equal to 75 degrees. Now the next one, we have to find the measure of angle I. Again, first we have to observe the parallel lines. The arrows indicate the parallel line. These two lines are parallel. This is acting as the transversal. Again, they both are on the opposite sides of the transversal but in the interior. So angle I is equal to 54 degrees. Now the last one is to find the measure of angle J. So our trick is to first find the parallel lines. Again, here three lines are parallel to each other. Now this angle J is on the third line and this angle 97 is on the first one. So we have to ignore the middle line. Now let us observe the transversal. This third line is acting as the transversal. Now both the angles 97 degree and J, they both are in the interior part and both of them are on the opposite sides. Again, this is forming a Z shape. So angle J is equal to 97 degrees because alternate interior angles are always equal.